My name is Ray Kirk. I'm an American bladesmith, mastersmith. I'm also a member of the Cherokee Nation. I started in '89 and I found out that I really like it, making knives, and I enjoy making them.
Can you talk a little bit about your signature blade?
My signature blade is an integral. I do full tang and hidden tang, and the hidden tang to me is the most simplest, easiest knife to make there is. Back in 2001, Ricardo Villar, who was a friend of Jerry Fisk, came over from Brazil and was at a ABS Hammerman in Washington, Arkansas. And I happened to have some 52-100 round bar, 1-inch size that he liked, and he did an impromptu forging demonstration. And I was very taken with it. And I loved it. And I sought to become better at it and to try to produce a knife that's economical for people that want to use a knife.
What is your favorite forging steel and why?
My favorite forging steel is 52-100. The main reason is that all the research I've done on it shows that the grain structure can be reduced finer than most of the other knife steels. I knew that as a knife steel, the smaller the grain, the better the edge holding, and the stronger the blade would be. So I acquired a large amount of it over 20 years ago, and this is what I like to use. And I won cutting competitions. I did my journeyman and my mastersmith performance test using this steel, and I proved that it holds a good edge, and it's a good knife steel.
How did you get into knife making, and do you remember the first knife that you made?
I got into knife making in '89 when I was kind of broke, and I decided it would be something I could do for Christmas presents, and I thought, well, how hard can this be, you know? So I made my relatives some knives for the kitchen and skinning, all the pretty knives, you know, that you always envision. The first knife I made was, I was about 18 years old, and I made my mother a paring knife out of some bending material. I still have it today.
What was the first knife making tool you made or bought?
The first tool I got for making knives was a gift from one of my students. Actually, I ended up trading the first knife that I made with it to him for all of his stuff, and it was a Sears Craftsman double-ended shoe polisher. We put a Jacob's chuck on the end and the flex holes, and that was my belt sander, but it was a disc sander.
Have you ever made a knife you were so attached to you refused to sell it?
No, I have never made a knife that I refuse to sell, because if someone really wants it, that makes me feel good that they like something that I do. And it makes me proud for them to own it.
Ray, if Forged in Fire called, would you go on the show again?
If Forged in Fire called me to go back on the show, I would go back in a heartbeat. It was a very enjoyable experience, and I love competition, and I love, you know, The idea of the show has helped to promote forging, and that's a good thing.
Some knife makers seem to have reservations about going on the show. Why do you think that is?
There's some knife makers that are hesitant to go on the show because financially, if they can't afford to take off 2 weeks, it's not a good thing. There's some people that may think that it'll make them look bad. I think, can't hurt nothing, and it might improve, turn someone's life around. You can't ever tell. If you go on there and some little kid that knows you, see you on there and sees what a positive influence you may have on him, then it's worth it. Our children are the country's savior. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I've heard guys, when the show first started, the only ones that really griped about everything was knife makers. Because, oh, he's not a great maker. Look, his blade cracked. Well, golly, if you haven't had a cracked blade, you ain't made a knife. I hate it when I get a cracked blade, and I have learned to alleviate a lot of it. But when you're working with unknown steels, in an unknown quenchant, in an unfamiliar atmosphere, you will make mistakes. And Forged in Fire has a agenda. The first one that messes up goes home first. The second one messes up goes home second. And the other two go home, and maybe one of them will mess up. I've been criticized for not taking more time and making my weapon pretty. I don't make real pretty weapons. I make using knives, and I thought the weapon I made was right down my alley. I like that, and it's good.
So what are some of the important changes, good or bad, in the handmade knife industry over the last 25 years?
The best thing about the improvements in the handmade industry in the last 25 years is that there has been several organizations that have been formed to promote forging as an art form, not making the ABS. They also have a method of certification, qualification. The Knife Makers Guild, they have to meet a certain standard to be a voting member. A lot of this has happened in the last 25 years. The bad thing is that, I don't know anything bad.
Ray, what new and exciting things are in the works at your shop?
Every day is exciting on the horizon, and the best thing that is that you can plan long-range plans. My plans, like June is late show, vacation, more knife shows, shop tours, maybe start a school. Always thinking about something. Don't just sit around and think. I had a cousin one time was asking what he was doing, and he said, thinking big and doing little. Don't do that.
In 10 words or less, what advice would you give to people who want to start making knives?
Find a good friend that makes knives and ask their advice. Take your time.